I am Rachel, and I'm an alcoholic.
Rachel.
That was a lot of fake it till you make it. I'm terrified, so just so you all know. But so I didn't really know what to talk about, but I just knew that it was definitely God that came through Therese, because I was at a women's meeting and I didn't even speak, and she came up to me and she's like, "I'm just called to come over to you, and I can you speak at a speakers meeting for 15 minutes at the intergroup?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I got you." Like, and we were saying like, "Where do you live?" and that kind of stuff, and she's like, "I'll come pick you up. I'll come pick you up," because people had backed out, and she was like, just wanting to make sure. And I was like, yeah, no, it's all good. We'll text you. So I said, "My name is Rachel," and I gave her my last name because I don't care. And she put me in her phone. And then, so I've been stressing, the last 4 or 5 days, like, what am I going to talk about? I don't even know. Like, I mean, I could tell you, I grew up in Seattle. My parents were alcoholics and drug addicts and drug dealers, and it was just good fun times, a lot of trauma like most of us have. And I had my first drink when I was 5, and it wasn't just a sip, it was like a full rum and coke. And my dad and his friends laughed as I tried to walk up the stairs but stumbled up the stairs, and it was so funny. But the entertainer in me thought that was cool because I had attention and I had laughs and I had, it just hit me like that. But I didn't drink again until I was about 13. And then it was just on the weekends, but it was never, it was never just a drink here and there. It was blackout drinker from the get go. But I would go through periods of dryness just because of who I was hanging out with. God put a lot of people in my life that were just, on a different path. And I met the person that I eventually got married to and had children with. His family life was, Leave It to Beaver. It was amazing. I thought it was fake. I thought they were beating him behind closed doors, but it wasn't fake. And I'm so grateful that I had children with him, because who knows if I found someone like me, what their childhood would be like. Um, and my mom got sober, um, and she was going to meetings and that kind of stuff. And me and my husband we were going through a divorce, and I was dry pretty much at the time. And when he had the kids, I didn't know what else to do besides drink. It just was, I didn't know what to do. And I called my mom, and she was like, "You need to go to an AA meeting." And when I first went, it was like, I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Fight Club. It was like Fight Club to me. Like, I was like, "Oh, here's a place that I can cry and I can meet people," and never worked the steps. 13th step was about the only step that I worked. And I did stay dry. And I went back out, and I stayed dry for quite a while. You guys messed with my drinking, and then I just started. It's a progressive disease. I started going out with friends on the weekends. It was fun, and then I started drinking by myself on the weekends because nobody could keep up with me. Nobody was as fun as me. Nobody, you know, everybody was like looking at me like, "You're still drinking? Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're right." And then in the last few years, I was a daily drinker, and it was drinking in the morning, drinking on the way to work, drinking at work, drinking on the way home, passing out, repeat. Um, it wasn't cute or pretty. There was, things around the house were not getting done. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't showering regularly. My daughter was like, peace and love, but you stink, and you need to get your stuff together. And um, so I knew I needed to get my stuff together, but I didn't. I was in so much denial that I was like, well, tomorrow I just won't have a drink, and tomorrow maybe this, tomorrow maybe that. And I went to work 58 days ago, and they were telling me that I had to work every single weekend, and I was not hired for that. And I was getting paid the same of what I got hired for, so I don't know why it really bothered me, but I was like, yeah, find someone else. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, find someone else. I'm out. Bye. And I barely remember that because I was kind of drunk and drove home. I don't remember driving home at all. And I woke up the next morning and I was suicidal. And I was like, like you can't, this is not for you. You can't keep doing this. And I was like, okay, I can kill myself. I can inadvertently kill myself and maybe somebody else, or I can go to an AA meeting. And I did. I went to an AA meeting and I didn't have a drink. And I went to a women's meeting because, I know everything. I know how this works, right? No, I'm kidding. I don't know everything. I knew that I didn't want to do it the same way that I had done it before. I knew that it did work, even if I didn't listen wholeheartedly to people or look at the similarities and not the differences, or, try to love and tolerate and all of that. And I knew that if I got to a women's meeting that I would, focus more on what I need to do. So I went to a women's meeting, and after that, I'm just like, you know what? I can go to a co-ed because right now you're either too old, too young, too dirty, too healthy, too you're just all two. So it's okay. Like I can be co-ed and I can do that kind of stuff, and it's all God that every single day there's like 15 things that happen that are just God. And when I went to the women's meeting and Therese asked me to do this, she put me in her phone and she texted me today and she said, can I call you? And I said, yeah, sure. And she called me and she said, I'm not going to cry. She called me and she said, I already had you in my phone as Luke's mom, and that's my son, because her son, who I love and adore, is friends with my son. And I'm not going to tell any stories about that. I knew that her son, because we were the house, like all the kids were over at our house all the time. We were just the house. And I knew that Therese was in recovery. And of course, I didn't want to hear any of that. And I did not want to be around Therese. And I never said anything like, oh, your mom's teeth or anything like that. But God is so good. Like, it's just crazy. Like, every single day for the past 57 days, something so good and so goosebump provoking and so connected to this program has happened. And it makes me happy. I don't have a job. And this is the longest I've ever been unemployed since I was like 15. But I don't worry about anything. Like, I really, truly can turn it over. When I was a kid and people would say, Jesus, take the wheel, I don't, whatever your higher power is. I was like, yeah, if I could master that, I wouldn't have to do anything because, my default's lazy. And I was like, that sounds great. But now I really can turn it over, and I really am like excited for every single day, not dreading waking up, not waking up and being hungover, let alone like suicidal. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful you guys listened to me talk. I can't do 15 minutes, I don't think. But I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. I do want to say that, yes, I didn't know who was going to be here, but I knew that you would all welcome me, and I knew that you would all listen to me, and I knew I would identify with you as well. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for